In order to select a soft edged object like this dog, we're going to start with quick selection, and then we're going to need to go in and modify the edge using the Select and Mask workspace. So with the quick selection tool selected, I will start dragging over the dog in order to select him. All right, we'll just add a little bit more there and a little bit more to the tail area right here. Then I'll hold down the Option key or the Alt key on Windows to subtract this area here in the foreground and just make sure we've got his ear there. Now, I want to make sure that I'm only selecting the dog and not the transitional areas. So I want to make sure that I'm not over selecting maybe these areas here. So I'll remove them as well, just going back and forth until we get the selection that we like. All right, then I can either click the Select and Mask option on the options bar, or if I had a different tool selected, we can always choose the Select menu and then Select and Mask. On the left-hand side, we have a number of different tools that we can use to refine our selection. And in fact, we don't actually have to create a selection first. We can go directly into Select and Mask and then just use these tools on the left. So we have the Quick Select tool, we've got the Refine Edge, a brush, the Object Selection, and the Lasso tools here. All right, over on the right-hand side, there are a number of different ways that we can preview our image. We can use the View menu here if we wanted to see it, for example, on black and white, or if we had multiple layers, we could choose that view. For now, I'll leave it to onion skin, and we can change the amount of transparency if that helps when making the selection. Across the top, there's an option to refine the hair. I'll go ahead and select that, and Photoshop will look specifically for difficult to select edges like fur and hair. There are two options here, color aware and object aware. These both use machine learning and artificial intelligence. Sometimes the color aware works better, especially when the subject is against a different color background. For now, I'll leave it set to object aware. Then we can use the Smart Radius option and the radius slider here. And we can see as I reposition the slider, Photoshop is automatically adapting the edges based on the image content. And this is why we really only want to select the subject and not those transitional areas, because we can use the radius slider in order to do that. All right, I'm going to use the Refine Edge tool to refine the edge around the tail of the dog. I'll also use it a little bit along the back there, over on the right side of the head, just to try to grab a few more of those little stray hairs. Now we can see it didn't select this area right here, so I can just switch to the brush tool, get a little bit larger of a brush, and just paint the area in because I want it to be selected 100%. I'll do the same right back here along the back of the dog, and then I'll scroll down, and there are a number of different ways that I can output this. For now, I just want a selection. I'll click OK. And at the bottom of the Layers panel, I'll just add a Hue Saturation Adjustment layer. I'll decrease the saturation, but I want it to affect the background. So I'll click on the mask icon and then choose Invert. Excellent. So even with a difficult selection like fur and hair, Photoshop's select and mask features make it quite easy to select the dog and enable us to restrict our changes to only the background.